The string lights twinkled over Emily's elegant backyard. Laughter and music filled the air for her engagement pre-party. I walked in, a carefully wrapped gift in my hands, my heart full for my little sister. I just stepped onto the patio when Emily's voice cut through the chatter, sharp and clear. "Teresa." She stood before me, her smile cold. The guests nearby quieted. "You're here." She said it like an accusation. My smile faltered. "Of course I am, Em." She crossed her arms. "Look, Teresa, you're not family enough for this." Mom and I agreed. "This is for close family only. Please, just leave before you make this awkward for everyone." A wave of gasps rolled through the crowd. I stood frozen, the gift box feeling like a lead weight. My own sister. My vision blurred with hot tears of shock. Before I could move, a woman in a sleek black blazer rushed over, a tablet in hand. "Excuse me," she said, her professional voice slicing the tension. "I'm looking for Teresa Mitchell." "The person who secured the venue and paid the initial deposit?" She scanned the crowd. My name hung in the stunned silence. Every head turned to me. Emily's triumphant face drained of all color, turning a sickly white. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. The event planner, Anna, followed everyone's gaze to me. "Ms. Mitchell? I just need a quick signature to authorize the extra lighting." Emily finally found her voice, a venomous hiss meant only for me. "What did you do?" The quiet patio erupted into frantic whispers. Emily and my mother, Patricia, each gripped one of my arms, steering me forcefully into the empty, echoing kitchen. The door swung shut, muffling the party sounds. "How dare you embarrass me like that?" Emily seethed, her earlier composure shattered. My mother's face was hard. "Teresa, this was supposed to be Emily's moment. Why would you interfere?" My heart hammered. "Interfere? I paid for that moment. You both begged me to sign those contracts because her credit wasn't good enough." Emily waved a dismissive hand. "You were doing it for family. That's what family does. Now you need to go back out there and tell Anna it was a mistake, that you were just helping." "Just helping?" I repeated, my voice trembling not from fear, but from a rising tide of anger. "You told everyone I wasn't family enough to attend, but I'm family enough to bankroll it." My mother sighed, as if I were a difficult child. "Don't be dramatic, Teresa. We just didn't think you'd fit in with Emily's new crowd. It's for the best. Now, be a good sister and sort this out quietly." As I stood there, reeling, I overheard Emily whisper to our mother, just outside the kitchen door. "Once Mark's parents see how perfect everything is, I'll say his family helped. We need to look established. Teresa's involvement just looks needy." I drove home in a numb silence. The hum of the engine was the only sound. Then, the dam broke. Sobs racked my body, tears blurring the streetlights. It wasn't just tonight. It was every cancelled plan where I covered her share, every loan never repaid, every time I was the reliable, boring one she relied on but was embarrassed by. At a red light, I glanced at my phone. The family group chat was blowing up. A cousin had posted, "Wow, drama much?" My mother had replied, "Teresa always tries to make Emily's moments about herself. It's sad." The light turned green. I wiped my tears, a new, cold clarity settling in my chest. The next morning, I sat at my kitchen table with a steaming mug of coffee. The hurt was still there, a deep ache, but beneath it was a solid, steady resolve. I opened my laptop and composed a calm, professional email to Anna, the planner. I requested copies of all invoices and signed contracts for my personal records, citing a need to review final expenses. I then did something that made my hand shake. I blocked the family group chat. I silenced Emily's and my mother's numbers. The silence that followed was terrifying, and then, incredibly peaceful. My phone chimed with a new email. It was Anna. Anna's reply was prompt and perplexed. "Of course, Teresa. All documents are attached." I have to admit, I was confused last night. Emily had introduced herself as the sole point of contact and indicated you were only a guest. I'm glad I clarified. I opened the attachments, my eyes scanning line after line. The total was staggering. The venue deposit, the caterer's retainer, the florist's booking fee, nearly 70% of the costs incurred so far were linked to my credit card or signed off by me. My temporary help had built the entire foundation of her wedding. Anna's final question glowed on the screen. Given the confusion, would you like me to pause all current arrangements under your account until this is resolved? I needed legal advice, not revenge. I found a local lawyer who specialized in contracts and family matters. In her quiet office, I laid out the documents. She reviewed them carefully, her glasses perched on her nose. This is quite clear, she said finally. These contracts are in your name. The financial obligations are yours. While there may be a familial understanding, legally, Emily has no standing here. She looked at me directly. You have every right to cancel these services. The retained deposits would likely be forfeit, but they are your losses to absorb. The power of those words, you have every right, was immense. I didn't cancel. Not yet. Instead, I became a detective. I visited the stunning vineyard venue on a quiet Tuesday. I introduced myself to the general manager, Tom, simply as someone considering an event. Casually, I mentioned my sister's upcoming wedding. His face lit up. Oh, the Mitchell wedding. Yes, your daughter Emily has been such a delight to work with. I froze. Your daughter. He saw my expression and faltered. I'm sorry, isn't Emily your daughter? She's been here with her in-laws, showing everything off. She said her mother had generously secured it for her. The pieces crashed together. I spent that evening poring over years of bank statements, not just months. The pattern was a sickness. Emergency car repairs, last-minute vacation top-ups, designer bags needed for important interviews. Thousands of dollars, all framed as temporary fixes. Texts from my mother reinforced it. Be a sister, family helps family, don't you want Emily to be happy? Then, my phone rang. It was Aunt Carol. Teresa, honey, I just heard from your mother that you're refusing to help Emily with the wedding now. After all she's done for you? The lie took my breath away. My plan formed not from rage, but from strategy. I requested a private meeting with Anna. Over coffee, I was honest but calm. I explained there had been a serious family misunderstanding regarding boundaries and funding. Anna listened, then nodded sympathetically. She's been demanding upgrades, Anna confessed. Gold leaf linens, a champagne wall. Each time, she said you had promised her a blank check. I felt a surge of relief. I wasn't crazy. I formally revoked Emily's authority to make decisions on the account. Anna updated the permissions immediately. Then she asked the pivotal question, these contracts are in your name. Legally, they're yours. What would you like to do with them? The question hung in the air. I thought about the beautiful vineyard. I ran my own small marketing firm. What if I repurposed this disaster? I asked Anna if the venue hosted corporate events. Absolutely, she said. They do beautiful retreats and galas. A new idea, bright and clear, sparked in my mind. What if I reclaimed what was mine and used it for something that mattered to me? I thanked Anna and left. My next call was to Tom, the vineyard GM, to schedule a proper business meeting. Sitting across from Tom in his office, I laid out my proposal. I was not canceling my contract. Instead, I wished to renegotiate it. I wanted to convert all existing deposits and held dates into a credit for a corporate charity gala I intended to host later in the year. It was a straightforward contractual adjustment. Tom, relieved to avoid a messy cancellation, agreed readily. We'll draw up the new paperwork, he said. Of course, this means the original wedding date and arrangements are released. Your sister will need to contact us to begin a new contract, subject to our current availability and pricing. 2 days later, the domino fell. Emily's scream of fury echoed through my phone via a voicemail I didn't listen to fully. Then, my front door shuddered under frantic pounding. I opened it to find Emily and my mother on the step, their faces masks of outrage. "How could you?" Emily shrieked, pushing past me. "The vineyard just called. They said I have no booking." "What did you do?" I remained calm, leaning against the doorframe. "The contracts were in my name, Emily. I've reassigned them for a business event. You're welcome to book the venue yourself. I suggest you call them, it's peak season." My mother stepped forward, her eyes blazing. "You selfish girl. You're sabotaging your sister's future." Emily was hysterical. "I promised Mark's parents a vineyard wedding. I told them it was all planned and paid for." That admission hung in the air. She had sold a lie built on my money. Later that evening, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. It was Mark, Emily's fiancé. His voice was strained, confused. "Teresa, hey. I'm hearing some wild things from Emily. She's saying you pulled some financial stunt? Can we talk?" I met Mark for a quick coffee the next day. He looked tired and uncomfortable. "Emily told me you were always difficult," he started. "That you barely helped the family. But this venue thing, she told my parents her family had secured it as a gift." I took a slow breath. I didn't show anger. I simply opened my folder and slid the initial invoice across the table, my name and signature clear at the bottom. He stared at it, his face paling. "That's my credit card," I said softly. "That's one of 7 deposits I've made so far." He was silent for a long minute. "She lied," he finally whispered. Mark looked at me, a plea in his eyes. "Teresa, I don't know what's happening. But the wedding is in 3 months. Can't you, I don't know, work this out? For the sake of family peace?" I looked at this man who was about to marry my sister, who had believed her stories about me. I felt a pang of pity, but my resolve was stone. "Mark," I said gently, "I've been keeping the peace for years by letting myself be used. I'm done. I'm not funding the illusion anymore." I gathered my papers. "I wish you both happiness. Truly." His defeated expression followed me out. I sent a formal, emotionless email to Emily, my mother, and Mark. I stated that I was permanently withdrawing from all wedding planning and financial obligations. I offered to formally transfer to Emily any vendor contracts for which she could provide proof of full, personal reimbursement to me. I knew that proof didn't exist. The response was an explosion of vitriolic emails and texts, which I ignored. Then, a message popped up from Aunt Carol on a private thread. "Teresa, I heard what happened. I'm proud of you for standing up. And, you should know what Emily's been saying about you to the rest of the family." Aunt Carol's messages were a waterfall of truth. Screenshots from a cousin's chat, stories from a family friend. Emily had been telling people for months that I was unstable after a bad breakup, that I was jealous of her engagement, that I had a habit of twisting stories for attention. Each lie was a tiny knife, but together, they showed me the full, ugly picture. I wasn't just an ATM. I was the villain in her narrative. As I processed this, my phone rang. The caller ID showed Mark's mother, Diana. Her tone was icy. "Teresa, I need to understand why you're deliberately trying to ruin my son's wedding." I let Diana finish her lecture about family duty and spitefulness. When she paused, I asked a single, quiet question. "Diana, when Emily took you and your husband on that tour of the Willow Creek Vineyard, did she happen to mention who had paid the non-refundable $15,000 deposit to hold that date?" The silence on the other end was absolute, thick with shock. "What?" she finally breathed. No. She said it was a gift from her side of the family. "The contract and the deposit receipt have my name on them," I said. "I can forward you the copies, if you'd like." I politely ended the call. The fallout was swift. Diana confronted Emily. Arguments between Emily and Mark echoed through their apartment, as he later confided to a mutual friend. Emily doubled down, blaming me for poisoning everyone against her. Meanwhile, I poured my energy into planning the charity gala. Anna became an enthusiastic partner, introducing me to other vendors. My professional world, once separate from my family drama, began to brighten. One afternoon, Anna called, her voice excited. "Teresa, you need to hear this. And I think you'll want to be at a meeting I have next week with the hospital foundation." Anna revealed that Emily had called her, offering a bonus if Anna would tell people there had been a joint account and that I had recklessly withdrawn the funds. Anna had refused and recorded the call for her own protection. "She's scrambling," Anna said. "And she's getting desperate. The meeting with the hospital is for their annual fundraiser. With your venue credit and my planning, we could pitch to co-host it. It's a major opportunity." I attended the meeting, focusing on professionalism and vision. By the end, we had a handshake agreement. My reclaimed disaster was becoming a career highlight. My phone buzzed incessantly one evening. Unknown number. I finally answered. It was Emily, but the haughty tone was gone. She was sobbing, ragged, ugly cries. "Teresa, please," she choked out. "You have to help me. Everything is falling apart. The venues are all booked. His parents are so angry. I can't fix this." Her voice broke. "I'm so embarrassed. I'll look like a fool." I listened, my heart a mix of pity and exhaustion. She cried for several minutes, waiting for me to rescue her, to say I'd fix it. When her sobs subsided, I spoke softly. "Emily," I said, my voice steady. "I hear that you're hurting. And I am truly sorry you're in pain. But I will not be giving you any money. I will not be signing any new contracts. I will not be fixing this for you." She inhaled sharply, a wounded sound. "I can send you a list of other venues and planners who might have last-minute availability. That's the help I can offer." There was a long silence. Then, a whisper filled with a lifetime of resentment. "I hate you." The call clicked off. The next day, I learned from Aunt Carol that Mark had officially called off the engagement. In the weeks that followed, the truth trickled out. Family members who had heard Emily's side began asking questions. When presented with the facts, dates, contracts, the planner's testimony, the narrative shifted. Apologies trickled in, hesitant and ashamed. My charity gala was a stunning success, raising significant funds and earning my company glowing local press. I stood at the podium, looking out at the room I had legally, rightfully reclaimed, and felt a peace I hadn't known in years. I didn't win. I just finally, gracefully, stopped losing. And in doing so, I found my way back to myself.